Hello. Today we are looking at the best Reddit posts. What constitutes best, you might ask? Is it upvote? Is it engagement? No, it's just the ones I think are best. It's the ones that stay sticky in my mind when I'm going to bed at night or if I'm in the shower. It's the ones that I can't stop thinking about that just have great longevity. All right, suspend your disbelief and let's get into it. First off, I want to show you this video. So this is a video I originally found on Reddit, but I can't find the original post now. It's basically where Mama Chimp has had her baby taken away to have some medical work done on it, and she's been mourning its loss while it's been gone. This is the moment that baby gets returned and Mama Chimp and baby Chimp get reunited. It's so touching. The next one is a TIFU post. So the post being TIFU by drinking a bottle of Louisiana Hot Sauce at a job interview. This one I think is really funny. Our lad was having a hard time landing a job, so he decided to try and do something that would separate him from the crowd. His plan was that on the way out, he would drink a bottle of hot sauce, slam it down on the table and say, "I can handle the heat." Impressive, no? Let's read what really happened. As I was leaving, I turned around, maybe not with as much swagger as I'd imagined in my head, and I declared, "There's one more thing you need to know about me." I pulled out the bottle of hot sauce, almost dropped it, and started to open the bottle. In my head, it was all one quick, confident motion like an electric Indiana Jones, but instead I fumbled around and had a tough time getting it open. It felt like a nightmarish entity, but was probably only about 20 seconds. Enough time for one of the interviewers to ask me what I was doing. I didn't answer directly. Instead, after I got the bottle open, I repeated, "There's one more thing you need to know about me," but stuttering. I then guzzled down the entire bottle of hot sauce. I instantly regretted it. My mouth and throat felt like lava was swirling around inside me. I immediately started to gag and loudly cough. I was crying involuntarily, tears hardcore streaming down my face. I was sweating like a terrible fool. I desperately tried to scream, "I can handle the heat," but just kept coughing before I could get anything out. The interviewers were all standing up looking at me in horror and confusion. A few seconds before I threw up all over the floor, I knew it would happen, and I tried to hold it back. I couldn't. I threw up all over the floor. It hurts as much on the way out as it did on the way in, if not more so. The vomit felt like flaming barbed wire shredding its way through my neck. After I finished throwing up, I could not bear to look at the interviewers. I hoarsely mumbled an apology and started to stumble as quickly as possible out the door. I've never been more shamed in my life. I didn't get the job. I love this next clip. Perfectly encapsulates how a child can give into their intrusive thoughts impulsively, and Mum seems to be getting a good laugh out of it as well. You may have seen some memes about a reality shattering lamp on Reddit before, and this is the story that it comes from. After a head injury, OP seems to live a completely different life in another world for what amounts to about a decade before being brought back to reality. He had a wife and kids, an entirely different life. We're going to read an excerpt from this story, from the part that seems to stick with people most. One day while sitting on the couch, I noticed that the perspective of the lamp was odd, like inverted. It was still 3D, but just wrong. I was transfixed. I couldn't look away from it. I stayed up all night staring at it. The next morning, I didn't go to work. Something was just not right about that lamp. I stopped eating. I left the couch only to use the bathroom at first. Soon I stopped that too, as I wasn't eating or drinking. I stared at the fucking lamp for 3 days before my wife got really worried. She had someone come and try to talk to me. By this time, my cognizance was breaking up and my wife was freaking out. She took the kids to her mother's house just before I had my epiphany. The lamp is not real. The house is not real. My wife, my kids, none of it is real. The last 10 years of my life are not fucking real. The lamp started to grow wider and deeper. It was still inverted dimensions. It took up my entire perspective and all I could see was red. I heard voices, screams, all kinds of weird noises before I became aware of pain. A fucking shit ton of pain. My first words I said were, "I'm missing teeth," and opened my eyes. I was laying on my back on the sidewalk, surrounded by people that I didn't know. Lots were freaking out. I was completely confused. He said he spent the next few years after that missing his non-existent wife and children, terribly depressed. So rough. I love this post, always makes me giggle. It's a short and sweet one from 9 years ago, but it's still kind of funny today. Let's read the post. Reddit. I need your help. I recently heard an old song on the radio and I completely forgot the name of the song. They didn't mention the name of it after it ended, so I still don't know the title. Most people know it from the 80s. The chorus goes, "Israeli men, hallelujah, Israeli men." I tried to search YouTube for Israeli men and Israeli men hallelujah song and no results came up. What is the name of this song again? I think we all know the actual name of the song is It's Raining Men, but I found it very funny that they thought it said Israeli men. Apologies for the awful quality, but it's the only one I can find this video in. It's just a super impressive video of a dad having really, really quick reflexes to get his kids out of the way of danger. This one's a classic. OP gets invited to his wife's boss's house for some dinner, and the steak that he is served is far too rare for his liking. So let's have a look at the post. Our hostess excused herself to the kitchen to take care of some dessert preparations. As I looked across the fancy dining room table at the open window of the third-story apartment, a cartoon light bulb appeared over my head. I knew I had to be decisive. Realizing that she could return at any moment, I committed. I grabbed the steak with my hand, gently shook off the juice, and executed a perfect throw right through the center of the open window. Here's the big time fuck up. The window wasn't open. It was the cleanest freaking window you'd ever seen in your life. That is, until my mostly raw slab of steak slammed up against it and slowly slid down, leaving a trail of bloody juice in its wake. My wife, whose steak was a nice medium rare, and who was unaware of my predicament, turned, jaw dropped, and stared at me like I was an alien from another planet. This look then slowly morphed into a more of a "there is no place on this planet you can ever hide from me" expression of demonic anger. My wife's boss heard the thud of the steak on the window and came in quickly. She took in the scene, the steak sitting on the windowsill, the blood trail, the empty plate, and then gave me an inquisitive, puzzled look. I just didn't know what to say. It felt like a minute of silence, but it was probably just 3 or 4 seconds. Finally, the best I could manage was, I'm so sorry, I'm such a klutz. I don't know, I was just cutting it, and it slipped. Just ask my wife, I really am a klutz. Right, honey? No help coming from that direction. I will clean this up. I can't believe this, I am so sorry. Etc., etc. Both women continued to stare at me like I'd escaped from the loony bin as I smeared the blood around the window with my cloth napkin, dusted off the steak, and continued to mutter my incoherent explanation. I knew no one was buying the story. I knew what I had to do. I sheepishly returned to my seat and proceeded to eat every bite of that disgusting, cold, chewy, bloody, raw steak. I remained pretty quiet the rest of the evening. My wife's only 2 words to me since the incident are, "I'm fine." Most downvoted comment. On the Star Wars Battlefront subreddit, a user was complaining that after having paid $80 for the game, he was not able to get Darth Vader. EA themselves come in with a reply stating, "The intent is to give players a sense of pride and accomplishment when unlocking different heroes," acting entirely obtuse to the fact that most players who would want the character would just end up paying for it because the grind to get the hero would be intense. And it just seemed a little bit inappropriate after having already paid so much for the base game. The comment got 668,000 downvotes and a bunch of awards, but we can't see those anymore. Good job, EA. A shocked bird. This is an old one that you've probably already seen. So it's from that trend at the time where people were throwing up blankets in front of them and running away behind them, acting as if they disappeared and seeing how their pets would react. We've got some really funny reactions from puppies, but this one from this bird was just too good. And it's something that I thought about a lot after I watched it the first time. It's a fantastic response. Rick Astley Rick Roll. I've mistakenly attributed this to AMA that Rick Astley did before, but it's actually on an r/pics retro tour picture that was posted by Rick Astley. On this post, Malleable Duck feigns that he could not believe that it was Rick Astley, and he needed to show him this concert picture that he had with him when he was young and he was on tour and he got to meet him. He linked the picture, and it turned out to be a link to Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. Essentially, Rick rolling Rick Astley. The comment was given a bunch of awards you can't see anymore and had 134,000 upvotes. Danny Devito is a good guy. On a post about Danny Devito taking his co-star from the Matilda movies, the actress who played Matilda, out on day trips because her family was struggling and her mother was sick, someone left a really lovely story about Danny Devito. The poster said that they were being really badly treated at their school at the time and no one believed them and they just wanted to end it all. Danny Devito sat next to them and listened to their troubles, shared some of their own at that age, and gave them some advice. They said that this period would pass and the poster would be all right. This stranger turned out to be Danny Devito. On this post, the reason I like it so much is a comment was left by none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger saying that he thought it was a very touching story and he would absolutely pass the post on to Danny Devito. So these are some of my favorite Reddit posts that live rent-free in my head. What are some of yours? Please tell me. I would love to hear about them. But that's it. That's the end of the video. Thank you so much for taking the time today to spend some time with me. Any time that you spend with me at all watching this video really does mean a lot to me and I really appreciate it. So I hope you have a fantastic week and take care. Bye.